CIL 650, in association with Tom Lucas Productions, presents Radio Real Estate.
Our house in the middle of our street.
And now, here are your hosts, Bill Macklem, Andrea Jack, and Tom Lucas.
Well, I'm here. Andrea, you're here. Hello.
Hello, Tom. Hi, Bill.
Wait,
Oh.
Bill, you all right, Bill?
In a minute.
You're puffing.
In a minute.
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Where have you been doing? You running
I'm
around?
doing the sun run.
Oh, you're doing the sun run and you just jogged over here to the open house.
Absolutely. I'm a little blasted.
Oh, no, you're a little tuckered.
Tuckered.
Would be the suggestion, would be the word that you should use today. So Bill Macklem is here. Bill's going to rest a bit. He's the president of Dominion Macklem Mortgages. He's also the resident mortgage guy on the program. And in just a few minutes, when you get your breath back, you'll be having the mortgage rate update, right?
Absolutely.
Then later on, when you really have your breath back.
And then we're going to, hang a sec. When we're back on, I'll be talking about municipal governments and the housing dilemma.
All right, we're also going to be chatting about the Royal LePage 2017 first quarter home price survey with Randy Ryle, so that'll be interesting.
Our radio real estate home handyman, Finn Jensen, says springtime and real estate just seems to go together here on the West Coast.
And we begin talks about the new home building process with Mark Jock, CEO of Mark Craft Homes. This looks like it's going to be a bit of a sequence of events.
I'm thinking so. And also, too, if you listen to one of the programs, and let's say you missed Mark talking about the beginning of putting a new home together, and you want to get details, you go back and you listen to one of our podcasts. So go to our website, which is radiorealestateshow.ca. You click on the podcast, and when you want, and you download it, and you can listen, right?
And that goes back for a while, too.
Yeah, at least 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Monica Dinao Briga, president of Mummy Maids, joins us, and today she's chatting about some environmentally friendly, made-at-home solutions to help keep your vehicle smelling new and clean.
And the Radio Real Estate News headlines are coming up. I'll be reading the headlines from the stories that made the news this past week. Andrea and Bill will give us their expert opinions. And Norm Holmes, the vice president of Pioneer West Acceptance Corporation, will be on the line. We'll be talking about Pioneer West and some of the things it can do to help you succeed.
Our mortgage question of the week is coming up. If you have a question for Bill, please leave it on our website, radiorealestateshow.ca.
All right, Bill, have you caught your breath?
I do. Thank you.
You're looking better. You don't look so
well,
peaked.
I got the color back of my face.
That's a good thing. Here's Bill Macklem right now with your mortgage rate update for the week.
We have some great rates. I was just talking to a group of realtors on Wednesday saying rates are great. We have some 5-year rates that are down as low. Now, we're talking about banks and trust companies and credit unions. Mm-hmm. So they're down as low as 2.64, 2.69. There are some giveaways that are a little bit lower than that, but then you have to be careful about the other little clauses that most of us never read. So you want to make sure you look at that. The variable rate is down to as low as 2.35, which is like 3.5 off the prime. And so the variable rate is great, but the rates are so close now on the variable and the fixed that he's now kind of thinking that, maybe the fixed might be better, particularly if the rates of the Bank of Canada rate does go up by a quarter. And we're hearing Polos is saying that that is in the works, but we're not exactly sure when that might happen.
Interesting.
In our next segment, Bill answers your mortgage question of the week. We examine the Radio Real Estate News headlines, and we speak with Mark Jock, CEO of Mark Craft Homes, about the beginning of the new home building process.
You're listening to Vancouver's original on-airs open house, Radio Real Estate on CIL 650.
CIL 650.
We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
Well, I'm quite surprised, Bill, that you're actually wearing a sweater today after the sun run there.
Well, I was a little bit chilly after that, and I was sweating a little bit, so I put something warm on, so I would absorb the moisture.
And by the way, when you jogged into the open house today, you mentioned, too, that today is National Cherry Cheesecake Day.
Oh, and I tell you, that's why I ran, because I knew the reward is a cherry cheesecake.
You ran the whole thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're ready for it. Well, I guess you're ready for it. Do you want to sit down and answer this question?
Yeah, I need to sit down.
Okay, we have a question for Bill. Andrea?
Our question this week comes from Betty of Parksville. Betty would like to know why she has to pay mortgage insurance and if there's anything to avoid paying the monthly payment to the lender.
Well, that's an interesting question, Andrew. Thanks so much for that. Betty's got some good thoughts there. There's two types of mortgage insurance, and so I'm not sure which way she's going. So let's talk about both of them. There's mortgage life insurance, which means that when you buy the property, the banks will want you to have life insurance on the property so that in the event that something happens to you or your significant other, if you have somebody on title with you, that the other person will not have the mortgage to pay if something happens to you or vice versa. So that's a survivor kind of insurance, and so they'll pay off the remaining balance of the mortgage. And so that's one mortgage insurance that's on there. The other mortgage insurance on there is called CMHC or Genworth. What it's all about is that in Canada, it's not, you're not eligible to put down less than 20% unless it's insured by one of these agencies. And what that does is it allows then the bank to lend you more than 80% of the property value, and they're insured so that in the event that you don't make your payments, they can get the insurance money back from CMHC or Genworth to reimburse them for it. So it's what it is for us. It's really good, and it's a good thing to have. What most people don't realize is that they say, well, I don't want to pay that insurance. Well, if the payments aren't critical to your lifestyle, and therefore you don't mind a 25 or a 30-year AM, if you have less than 20% down, you have a 25-year amortization, which will increase your payments a little bit. But the CMHC fees, let's go worst case scenario. Let's say we have a $400,000 mortgage. The CMHC fee is 3.6%. People say, oh, that's $14,000. I don't want to be paying $14,000. So I do this to them. I say to them, okay, so that if I take that cost of $14,000, that's over the lifetime of the mortgage, so that's 25 years. That cost per month works out to be about $48 per month. So that's a lot of money. That's $50. That's a lot of money. I say, okay, so let's look at the reality. If the value of the property, we'll just do it in 5 years, because to do it in 25 years is kind of crazy. A value of the property in 5 years' time is going to go from $425,000. You have a $400,000 mortgage on a $425 property. It's going to increase to about $493,000. That's at a 3% inflation, so I'm being very cautious about that. What that means is the property is increasing in value in the first 5 years by $1,144 a month. So if the cost of getting that money is costing you $48 per month, it's a no-brainer to say, hey, CMHC insurance is the way to go if you can afford the higher payment.
Could you also get private insurance too?
Yes, you could.
So like life insurance, so let's say you and Andrea bought a place together. She takes a life insurance policy out on you. Something happens to you, she can either pay off the mortgage with that money or go and buy a fur coat or go on a cruise.
And you're absolutely correct, because that is a private insurance policy.
And that's cool.
On a bank insurance policy, the only way you can spend that money is to pay off whatever balance is left over on the mortgage.
Gotcha.
For expert mortgage information online, visit BillyMac.com. That's Billy with an I, not a Y, MAC.com, or call Bill at 604-684-4663. That's 604-684-HOME.
I'm working on a building of love. Gonna build it in the name of everyone. I'm working on a building of love. Gonna build it in the name of everyone.
Yeah, I'm working on a building of love. You didn't think those things existed anymore, did you?
And naming it in everybody's name.
Yeah, I am. I'm building a building of love, but I don't build it by myself. I know if you build a house, it starts with 2 pieces of wood usually, right? After that, I'm lost. So I've got a guy on the phone right now who understands the house building process. He understands the new house building process. Gentleman's name is Mark Jock. Jock.
Well, actually, Jauk.
Oh, Jauk.
He likes Jauk. That's the German pronunciation.
Oh, sehr gut. Ja, mein Führer. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy running day. Were you out in the sun run this morning?
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Oh. We took the bus down there. Jesus.
Did you?
Yeah, no, Mark, come on. I was getting ready for the show. I had to talk to you.
Exactly.
One of the big parts of Markcraft Homes is that you guys not only do renovations and things, which is very important to houses, but you also build brand new houses.
Right. Really, Tom, that really is our forte. And we specialize in infill new custom home development. When we don't have a development going in a new area. So that the consumer today, if he's looking for a new home, has basically 2 choices. They can buy a home within a development. Generally, that's kind of a larger tract builder. And these homes and home developments are generally out in the suburbs, lower mainland. But if you want to stay in the neighborhood that you've grown up in, or you have an existing home, Vancouver, Burnaby, Coquitlam area, there is a lot of infill development going on.
Now, Mark, let's suppose that Mrs. O'Malley gives you a call and says, Mark, could you come over? My husband and I are thinking about having a brand new home built. What sort of questions do you sit down and ask them?
Well, that's a very good question, because, it's a whole process. And I thought what we could do in the next few weeks is go through that whole process. I mean, it starts from really, if you don't have land, we've got to go find it. And that's where, obviously, good realtors like Andrew are available for that kind of help. The initial consultation really talks about getting to know people and getting to know what people want in housing, getting to know what their target budget might be, and then kind of working through those initial things and then looking at selecting choice of a home designer or architect depending on the complexity of the build.
Right. So I think each of these areas, there's a lot of details, in every step. So I think that is a good idea that over the next few weeks we can, look at each individual area and get a lot more information.
Well, right, Andrew. So if we look basically at the kind of the process, we can discuss land acquisition and demolition process involved with that.
And also financing with Bill. There's we
can talk about the financing of the land and new construction. Yeah. We can discuss home design and designing budget and costing. We'll have to review building contracts and the whole construction process and the stage of development, as well as a warranty. So, if we break that down over the next few weeks, it could be fun for your listeners to kind of get an education on this.
I think that's going to be a great theme, Mark. And by the way, I'm just receiving a text now. It's from your wife. It says something about putting the back on the house.
Putting the what?
You got to put the back on your house. Did you take the back off your house?
Oh, yeah, I just removed that yesterday.
Oh, but she wants it back on.
No.
Yes, sir.
We're coming into summer.
Oh, well, that's your excuse. You stick to it.
Yeah, there you go.
Mark, what's your telephone number? I was going to say, what's your telephone number over there at Mark Craft Homes?
It is 604-461-2560, or they can look us up on markcrafthomes.com. We've got a website that actually reviews a lot of what we'll be talking about in the weeks to come.
Perfect.
Okay.
markcrafthomes.com.
markcrafthomes.com. Straightforward. Markcraft is spelled M-A-R-C-A-R-F-T. Markcraft Homes.
That is right, yeah.
.com is spelled D-O-T. No, never mind.
How do you spell dot?
No, never mind.
Little round circle.
Never mind. I think you should head home now after that sun run because you do have to put the back of the house on before dinner time.
I'll do that. I'll run home.
Attaboy. And I'll talk to you next week.
I thought we were getting pizza.
We are. Thank you. That's Mark.
Bye, Mark.
You bet. Bye-bye, Andrew.
Thank you.
We should invite Mark over for pizza. What do you think?
I thought he was cooking pizza.
Oh, well, no.
That was last week.
Oh, that was last week.
Did he say that?
Yeah. So if somebody wants to get a hold of Mark, does anybody know Mark's telephone number off by heart? You do. He's
I
your
can
dad.
give his secret number out. It's 604-780-2020 is his direct line if you want to reach him directly.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, I think we want to reach him directly. Well, coming up, we're going to chat about the radio real estate stories that made the news headlines this past week. We're also going to speak with Norm Holmes, the vice president of Pioneer West, about some great investment opportunities.
This is Andrea Jock of Pinnacle Group Real Estate Marketing with our mortgage expert, Bill Macklem, president of Dominion Macklem Mortgage, producer Dwayne Bishop, and Tom Lucas. You're listening to Radio Real Estate, Vancouver's original on-air open house on CIL 650.
CIL 650.
Well, with the help of somebody like our friend Norm Holmes over at Pioneer West, you too could become a rich man. Norm, how are you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm fine. My legs hurt a little bit. I was running this morning, of course, in the fun run, but there you go.
Great.
Yeah, well, you see my legs, let me tell you, Norm. Norm, listen, for the past little while, you've been talking about mortgage investments and how good they are for people, but let me ask you, what is your primary role with Pioneer West?
My primary role is to place investors' funds in specific mortgage investments based on their individual criteria.
Well, that sounds kind of neat. What type of different criteria do mortgage investors have?
They have many differences similar to the borrower's needs. The amount they want to invest, level of risk versus return desired, how long they want to invest the money for, and what specific real estate market they choose, BC, Alberta, urban, rural, those kind of things.
So, Norm, you match with investors' criteria with a specific borrower's mortgage characteristics.
Yes, that's correct.
Without providing confidential information, could you give us some examples of a real mortgage investments that you have for investors that are available right now?
Sure. I have a first mortgage on a waterfront property in Sylvan Lake near Edmonton. The borrowers are purchasing the property for just over $800,000 and putting down a $400,000 cash down payment. The mortgage investment is a first mortgage for $400,000 at a return of 8.95%.
Now, that sounds like a pretty safe security, but can the borrowers afford those payments, Norm?
Yes, their credit scores are in the 800 range, and their most recent tax returns prove an income of over $250,000.
So, Norm, why don't customers like this go to a bank, for example, for a lower interest rate?
In this particular case, they just applied with us on Monday, and they have to close next week, so the banks can't close fast enough.
Oh, that sounds great. Do you have any smaller ones?
Sure. We have a second mortgage currently available on a local property where the house is appraised for $500,000. The first mortgage is $315,000, and the second mortgage that we are doing is $35,000. That makes remaining equity 30% or $150,000. The rate of return for investors on this one is 12%, and the borrowers have $80,000 of income and 600-plus credit scores.
Why can't these borrowers get a bank mortgage?
The borrowers are using the funds to pay unsecured credit loans, and the banks want clients with higher credit scores and low debt service ratios for consolidation mortgages these days. But the new second mortgage will reduce payments and save the borrowers a lot of interest.
So the borrower saves money, and the investor gets a 12% return. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal for both the borrower and the investor. These are only two current examples of about 30 that we have available and we're completing. And they are available right now for investors to invest in.
Sounds like you have a large selection of mortgage investments for investors.
Yeah, that's right. And we're also currently accepting subscriptions for investments in our mix shares also. So there's a good mortgage investment option for everyone.
Well, thanks so much, Norman. We'll chat with you again next week on the show.
Great. Thank you.
Have a great week. Thank you, Norm.
For more information, call Norm Homes at 604-987-1420. That's 604-987-1420, or visit pioneerwest.com. That's pioneerwest.com.
All right, this is the part of the program I really enjoy. It's the Radio Real Estate News headlines. I'm going to be reading some headlines from the news, and our friends Bill and Andrea will tell us what they think. First of all, it's election time. We all know that. Let's look at where the three major political parties stand out on the housing area. First of all, the Liberals, the NDP, and then the Green.
All right. Well, the Liberals want to expand the home renovation grant, so because they want more renovations so that people will actually build like a secondary home, and that complies with an article we had in the paper earlier in the week about gentle density can help increase the housing supply. So the Liberals are talking about that. They'll get a grant of up to $20,000. They want to have another 5,000 subsidized rental properties in the property, so that's not too bad.
And they also implemented the tax, over the summer, so they're trying to slow down our overheating real estate market.
Exactly.
So.
So they seem to be approaching it from a fairly substantiated level.
Mm-hmm. What about the NDP?
Well, they're talking about first off, they want to tax homes over $3 million. So if you're going to be buying a property, you're going to tax them even higher. They seem to be going more after the renter as opposed to the actual owner of the property. So they're saying that you're going to get a rent subsidy of $400 per year. You're going to get increased rental protection so that you can't get booted out. I mean, one of the problems we have with rentals, obviously, is that because of such a high demand, the people who own the properties are trying to find some way of having a time frame on how long you can rent that property, and then when that time frame's up, you're either gone or they bump the rent up, which is a little kind of unfair.
So it seems like NDP is more focused on the rental aspect, where Liberals are trying to get people in the market
and trying to increase the supply. We're going to talk a little bit more of that later on in the show.
I took that $400 a month, or it was a year, $400 a year, and divided that by 365. Works out to $7.95 roughly a day.
So it's a coffee.
Yeah, and you know where. Yeah. Now, what about our friends over at the Green Party?
The Green Party is they want to have even a higher.
They sound aggressive.
Yeah, they want to have even a higher tax on people. They want to have a tax on people that are, I believe this is correct, whereby if you're not living in the country and earning an income in the country, that you'll pay a higher tax there.
And didn't I read that they wanted to increase the property purchase transfer tax from 3% to 12%?
Yeah, that was huge.
Great. And on top of the foreign buyer tax, that's a lot.
I guess when I look at housing, because this is what we do every day,
Sure.
that you're looking for a way to increase the housing supply as opposed to penalize the people that already have rental housing in the marketplace. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment of the show is like, how do we increase the supply of housing?
All right. Now, one gentleman writes, homes are a right, R-I-G-H-T. They are not an asset. One citizen writes, as long as housing is seen as an asset to be traded and shuffled about instead of a home and human rights, many humans and many rights will be sacrificed.
That's an interesting comment. I agree with it to a certain point. Like we were talking, Andrew and I were talking earlier before the show, that when you buy a home, you don't buy the home at the lowest value and sell it at the highest value. That's not what this is all about. What you're trying to do is you're trying to find a home to raise your children, your family, entertain your immediate family or other people as well.
To live in.
To live in. You're
Right.
living in.
Exactly.
I mean, yes, I think some people can look at it as a way of making some money or, you buy, you invest, and if you renovate, you're doing that for a profit. So I guess everybody does have, certain goals in life. But I think we've discussed in previous, shows that if you're looking, long-term is the best. Holding anything as a long-term investment, you'll never lose.
Yeah, I've heard the expression, if you get into real estate, you're there for the long term, you cannot lose.
Yes.
That's right.
All right. So now it says that the BC Housing Coalition is asking provincial candidates to sign on to a plan calling for a big chunk of change in affordable housing funds. They want some dough. What do you think?
I'll tell you. Well, you know what? It's amazing. Every time they need some housing, the municipalities that have raised the municipal taxes on every municipality in the Lower Mainland higher than the rate of inflation is now saying, we have a problem with housing, so let's go to the federal government and the provincial governments to solve our problem. As opposed to, we're already getting some tax dollars. How can we realign those tax dollars to actually meet this need of for the people that are paying the taxes? Like we're paying that. Like I pay my taxes in my municipality. I expect that municipality to look after not only my needs, but those that can't fight for themselves. And so, but they're not doing that. They're just lining their own pockets. They have more bureaucracy. They have more problems. And, Gregor Robertson says he's going to solve the housing problem. Well, it's increased from the housing problem he's got. It's increased from 1,500 to 2,200 in the time he's been in power. So, he's obviously not doing anything about it.
All right, now-
Sorry.
Sorry. This next story might be in line with what you're just talking about. It says to attract young families and talented workforce, the Lower Mainland must deal with its housing affordability by developing diverse housing forms and tenures that will expand the supply side of the market.
They've got to do something, and what they're not doing is that they're not looking at it from what I would call a small global perspective. Global meaning the Lower Mainland. What happens in any normal city when you have one government looking after the entire 2.5 million people is that the government doesn't care where you live as long as we have transportation to get you to where you got to work. But in our situation, if you have people living in Vancouver who were born in Kitsilano, let's say, or someplace in Vancouver, I don't want to just kind of own on that, they expect that if those people leave Vancouver, Gregor Robertson doesn't get that tax dollar. So he's using everything in his power to keep that person in Vancouver. No different than people living in Surrey or Burnaby or North Van or West Van. So what's happening is that the people are losing their tax dollars if they move out of the area. So this has nothing to do with the needs of people. This is what the needs of the municipality is, to keep these people in the municipality. No. In a regular city, you would move out to Chilliwack or Mission or Abbotsford or Langley, whatever, and get the housing that you can afford and still keep on driving into the city. But the city doesn't lose the tax dollars.
All right, our last headline today on the program, the hot housing could create a drag on the economy, says the CEO, Dave McKay of RBC. He says rising housing prices is really where I see all the risks, and we're calling on all forms of government to solve this challenge.
Wow.
Let's
get the government.
The government.
I'm sorry. So we talk about government intelligence. We call it about government workers. What's our sarcasm? We always say, well, you got military intelligence. Well, there isn't any. You got government workers. Well, they don't work. We have a bunch of people standing around watching one person work. I mean, there are municipalities that have rules that if you have a team of people working at that, 4 people in the team, even though you only need one person to do the job, you got the other 3 people watching them. And those are rules on the job. I'm not making this up. So there are inefficiencies built into this entire system that we have to address, and nobody has the wherewithal to make those changes that need to be done.
All right. So thank you very much for that. Next week, we're going to do this again. We'll be looking at the headlines and we'll see what's coming up in the news and we'll get your comments about that, right?
Yeah.
Now, before we go to break, you wanted to say hello to somebody because you were out down by the beach there last week and you ran into somebody that listens to the show.
I sure do. So I was showing a property at UBC and I went down to Spanish Banks there and I ran into this lovely beach cafe and as I walked up to order my coffee, on loud and clear on the speakers are playing CL 650.
God love them.
I know. So I want to send a special, and apparently they have CL 650 playing all the time. And it is the owner, Ruben, and his wonderful daughter, Lisa. Ruben is the owner of the Beach Cafe at Spanish Banks.
Ruben and Lisa.
Yeah, and
Hello.
they've been listening for years. So we want to send out a special hello and thank you.
Nice to have them tuned in. And Billy, you have some friends too that
Yeah,
listen
I
to
do.
the
I
show.
have a good friend from Tawasin who's now moved to Comox. And so John Ismay is out there in sunny Comox listening to our show on the island. And I have Ron Wall, a good friend of mine from just in the South Surrey area. I was just talking to him at the Staples just last couple of days. And he says, oh, yeah, I listen to your show all the time.
You know what? It's really interesting. I'm glad that you two have friends that listen because Dwayne and I actually have no friends. And so we'll just say hi to everybody.
Because you're so unfriendly, right?
That's true. That's true.
In our next segment, Monica Dina Briga, president of Mummy Maids, talks to us about an all-natural, made-at-home, environmentally friendly cleaning solution and a great way to keep your vehicle smelling fresh and new.
For more real estate information, coming right up on Vancouver's original on-air open house.
It's Tom Lucas, along with our co-host Andrea Jock of Pinnacle Group Real Estate Marketing, Bill Macklem, the president of Dominion Macklem Mortgages. Our producer is Dwayne Bishop, and you're listening to Radio Real Estate on Smooth and Easy, CIL 650.
CIL 650. The clean up woman, 'cause she's tough. I mean, she really cleans up.
It's the Radio Real Estate Show on CIL 650, Smooth and Easy. Bill Macklem is here, and of course, Andrea Jock is here, and our producer Dwayne is here, and I'm here. We're all together again. It's a great Sunday afternoon.
It is.
You have a vehicle. I've ridden in your vehicle a couple of times. From time to time, Bill, how can I put this in a gentle way? You use your vehicle as a toxic garbage dump. Is that close?
Well, sometimes Kat, my wife, puts the garbage that I'm supposed to take out.
That explains why.
And then maybe I might forget it for about a couple of days.
So you would like to have that vehicle of yours smelling fresh and new again?
I would.
Well, listen carefully to this. Here's Monica.
Hi, Tom. Would you like to keep your vehicle smelling fresh? You spend a lot of time cleaning your vehicle. It's only natural that you would want to keep it looking that way. But what about the smell? With all the dirt, grime, and moisture from the snow that happens in the wintry weather. You need to clean not only the carpets, windows, and vinyl, but you also need to clean the air. To keep the air smelling fresh, put some baking soda in a mason jar with a few drops of your favorite essential oils. I like to use lavender. Your vehicle will smell clean and fresh, and you will feel better about spending so much time in your vehicle. Happy motoring! This is Monica Dinabriga for Radio Real Estate.
Mummy Maids will clean your castle with no hassle. Call Monica at 604-533-4959, 604-533-4959, or visit mummymaids.com. That's mummymaids.com.
Hey, you're listening to Radio Real Estate on Smooth and Easy, CIL 650. Our website is radiorealestateshow.ca. Bill Macklem has a brand new website, Billy with an I, not a Y, MAC.com. Tell me about that, Billy. What's on there?
Well, we have a corporate one that Dominion Lending Centers has done for us. So we have that one. And then we have the other one that we use kind of like our how would you describe it? It's the personalized one.
Okay.
So it's got the Billy Mac on there. We have our recipe cards on there. We're adding on, I think Sean's putting in some more this weekend. So I think we got close to the 40 recipes on that page. And these are ones that we just hand out and send out to clients every couple, 3 months, just to make sure they know we're still around. But it's kind of fun to do.
It's a good thing we have Andrea on the show now because you're handling all the social media for us.
I am.
You're
so guys, stay tuned.
Instagramming and twitting and tweeting and all these other cool
Yes,
things that
that
you're
we
doing.
finally got your password.
My what?
Your password.
Password.
I got your password.
I don't know
What's a
what that means.
password? I don't know what a password is. Is that one of those modern terms? Password.
It is. Yes. So now that I have the information from you that I need, we're going to get started here.
And we have a Facebook page too?
You do have a
Wow,
Facebook page, and
that's
I'm going to
pretty-
start an Instagram page.
Wow.
So people can see our lovely faces, not just hear our voices.
So you mean to tell me that during the program you could actually Instagram something
Yeah.
and put it up there like Toots Smith?
I'm going to be doing live videoing. So
No.
yes,
No,
you are going to be on camera.
I'll have to
So
make sure I'm.
Bill, you'll have to start wearing pants instead of that kilt.
I think so.
Looks pretty silly. It'd not be nice. Radio Real Estate is the name of the show, and our co-host on the program is Andrea Jock, and you work with Keller Williams Elite Realty. You also are part of the Pinnacle Group Real Estate Marketing Organization.
That's right.
You do your farming, and farming, I should explain to people, I guess, is that's where the area in which the realtor does their basic work, right?
We specialize. So I think it's so important to work with an area specialist, somebody that knows the product, they know the inventory of new homes coming on the market. It really helps a realtor to understand and determine property values when you're going to list a home if you really have a good sense of what's happening in your neighborhood. So on a larger scale, I specialize in the Tri-Cities. So I mainly work in Port Coquitlam, and Port Moody. And then even on a more micro scale, we really are focusing our efforts on a little community called Belcarra. And the reason you have to be so specialized in that area is there's so much to take into consideration. We're dealing with docks, dock shares, large lots, septic system, wells, water. You have to really understand how to sell properties in Belcarra when you're working in that area.
I understand there's a fire in Belcarra a couple of weeks ago.
There was, but everything's under control, and the Sasamat Volunteer Fire Department did a wonderful job and put it out. So everybody's really lucky there.
So they saved a lot of property and a lot of biting of the nails, that kind of
They
thing.
sure did, yeah. So no, it's going really well.
How are the prices on the Tri-Cities?
So Tri-Cities, market's really picked up. So I don't know if you remember that lovely property I was just talking about in Belcarra on that 17,000 square foot lot with dock share. Before we even hit the market, I already have an accepted offer.
Nice.
We just sold the property on Coombe for $2.5 million under 40 days. So, we're really starting to see the properties move in all price points now. For a while, it was just properties under, $1 million that were still receiving multiple offers, and they still are. But now we're starting to see higher end properties have some movement as well.
All right, now somebody would like to buy or sell in the Tri-Cities. How should they get a hold of you, Andrea?
Yeah, they can give me a call at 604-783-3124. That's 604-783-3124. Or you can visit my website, pinnaclegrouprem.com. That's pinnaclegrouprealestatemarketing.com.
It's Radio Real Estate Show, and here's what's coming up in the next segment of the program. Billy?
Yeah, we're going to be chatting about the municipalities and the lack of housing, the lack of affordability, and maybe some things that should be getting done that's not getting done.
All right, we're also going to be speaking with Randy Riles of Royal LePage about the 2017 first quarter Price House Survey. That should be interesting.
This is Andrea Jock of Pinnacle Group Real Estate Marketing with Bill Macklem, President of Dominion Macklem Mortgage, producer Dwayne Bishop, and Tom Lucas. You're listening to Vancouver's original on-air open house, Radio Real Estate on CL 650.
CL 650.
Well, this old house is for sale. You can move on today, I guess. You could. Let me just check it out here. We have the results of the 2017 first quarter house price survey from Royal LePage. I've got Randy Riles standing by. Randy, hello there.
Hello, good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and thank you, and welcome to the program. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I know that you spent most of the day out in the sun run running around there. Boy, you've got big legs, pal. No, the reason why Randy is running around is because you have all the facts and figures from the 2017 first quarter house price survey. What did you find? What did you guys do? Where could I live?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're sort of seeing a little bit of deja vu from last year right now, Tom. It's a very strong seller's market again. People are competing to buy properties, especially condos. So it's very busy out there.
Are prices going up or going down? We keep hearing prices going up one minute, they're going down the next. What did you guys find out?
Well, it looks to us like there's an upward trend for sure. We're sort of, as the quarter wore on, we're seeing improvements month to month to month. And so activity levels are starting to come back up as well. And so we're definitely, I would say, on an upward trend.
Well, just reading your report there, Randy, I was just saying that you were commenting about house prices across Greater Vancouver may have reached a bottom in the first 3 months of the year, and now it looks like the house prices are starting to move upwards, and are comparing with from 2016 as well.
Well, I don't think the prices have recovered quite that far, but we're definitely on that trajectory again, and so very interesting. The first half of this time last year was incredibly busy, and we had record numbers of transactions. We're not back to those kind of numbers as far as the amount of activity goes, but we're seeing a lot of demand from buyers. We're seeing, just tons of people coming through the open houses on weekends and that sort of thing. People are competing to buy properties, and the sales to value, or rather sales to active listing ratios are very high. So it's there's lots of upward pressure on prices again.
Now, Randy, the folks over at Royal LePage have gone to a lot of work. Let's go through this market by market, could we? First of all, what do you foresee for the Greater Vancouver housing market?
Well, we are seeing a similar kind of situation that we had last year with very, very low inventory. So the choices for buyers are very limited in terms of, the available properties for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Last year when the government got involved in the marketplace and added a foreign buyers tax and added some extra difficulty for first-time buyers, I think a lot of people sort of stepped back out of the marketplace and took a wait and see. But those people seem to be coming back into the marketplace, and so you've got just a whole bunch of people trying to buy very few properties. And so, it's always, the story in Vancouver for the last number of years has always been a supply story. And until that supply situation changes, I don't see it changing too much.
In West Vancouver, looks like the price of homes have risen as well. And I guess this is again reflecting that 6 month kind of everybody kind of took a breath for 6 months and now they're coming back in.
Seems that way, yeah. Probably the only sector of our marketplace here in the Lower Mainland was, the condominium market in West Vancouver has dropped off a little bit, probably about 8% or so lower than it was at this time last year. But everything else is still hanging on to, a good portion of the gains that we saw last year. So, last year we saw some pretty remarkable gains in terms of price. In some areas it was, 20, 30% kind of thing. And we've given some of that back in the last half of the year, but, we're still double digits ahead of where we were pretty much at this time last year in all regions, in the Lower Mainland.
Great. So in Richmond, we saw home prices rise by about 13.4%.
We're about 13.4% over where we were at this point in time last year. Now, they certainly, like I said, during the course of the year last year, they went up probably by 30, and then they've kind of come back in the last half of the year, but we're still about, 13.5% higher than we were at this time last year. Now,
Randy, values are also rising out in Burnaby too, right?
Yeah, Burnaby is doing quite well. They're probably not quite where Richmond numbers were in terms of price appreciation, but, they're still about 8 or 9% higher than they were at this time last year.
In Coquitlam, it looks like price didn't increase quite as much as it did in Richmond or in North End, but it looks like they've gone up as well.
Coquitlam's doing very well. They're probably sitting at about 10% higher than they were at this time last year. Langley seems to be the big story. They're about 21% higher than they were last year at this time.
Wow.
So I think you're seeing lots of people, and that's kind of understandable because Langley is just a little bit more affordable than certainly Burnaby or Coquitlam, right?
So it's actually looking like Surrey, though, remains to be the most affordable region in Greater Vancouver.
Yeah, there's still some great value to be found in Surrey, I think. And so, to answer your question, Tom, some nice homes for sale in Surrey. It's still under 800,000.
We were talking on the headline news a while ago about how everybody wants the government. Everybody wants the government to take care of the housing situation. What have you been finding out when you're talking to people, say, from Toronto and from Vancouver? Do they all want the government to take care of them?
Well, very interestingly enough, this week, the Ontario government, it looked like they were not going to go with the foreign buyers tax there, but Now I see the Ontario government and the Premier announcing that they are going to have a 15% foreign buyers tax. Although, that said, it looks like they've maybe done a little bit more thinking about it or maybe they learned a few lessons from us. And so they've got some exemptions for foreign workers and that sort of thing built into it. But it looks like they are going to implement that tax. So it'll be interesting to see if that has really any effect on Greater Toronto.
So maybe if our listeners have any questions, they're thinking about who we should vote for, do they have a good thought on housing or something, maybe get out to one of these local meetings and ask, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. You know, I think they do need to get out and have a conversation with their local politician. You know, the real estate industry, I don't think it's any secret that we weren't all that enamored with how those things were implemented, and there's a lot of unintended consequence that goes with that kind of stuff. All
right, now, Randy, you've taken it's a Sunday for most people, but for you, it's been a really tough day. You and Bill, first of all, you ran in that sun run today, so you're a little pooped, and now you got to go home and cook dinner, I hear.
Well, I even heard that it's National Cheesecake Day.
Yes, it is.
So now I'm going to have to eat a cheesecake just to make up for it.
Well, next time you're over our way, I make a great cheesecake. I'll be more than happy to share it with you.
All right. Well, that sounds great.
Randy, if somebody would like to get a hold of you or find out some more information about the 2017 first quarter house price survey from Royal LePage, can they give you a call?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, call my office and they'll be able to track me down pretty much any time.
Fantastic. Do you have your office number handy?
Yeah, it's 604-421-1010.
421-1010.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, jog on home, and thank you for being with us today, Randy. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks so much. That's Randy Rouse. He's been talking about the Royal LePage 2017 first quarter house price survey. Kind of interesting, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm following up some of the stuff he's talking about. And he says that someone cried wolf, and so everybody stopped buying for 6 months. And now they find out there's not many Chinese buyers out there. They're only about 5% of the overall market. And so everybody else is just starting to rush back in. Sales are up 50% month over month. You know, we used to say that before people would say, like, I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to sell till prices go down, till they hit rock bottom. By the time they hit rock bottom, they're coming back up again, right? Exactly.
And isn't it funny when you think foreign buying tax, everyone's sort of focusing more on the Asian Chinese market. But the funny thing is, we actually had foreign buyers out of the USA buy our property in Belcarra. They're the ones that have the offer. And, you know, now they're subject to this tax too as well. So it's.
But fortunately, because of the dollar differential.
True, but it still is. It's still
tax,
and it's something they have to look at.
Not only that, we had people from Alberta.
And I have to say, it did slow down the process of the offer coming in, because that was something they really had to consider.
Money for nothing, chicks for free. Ooh, and money for nothing, chicks for free. Money for nothing, chicks for free. All that money for nothing, chicks for free.
Bill, you're looking worried. Money for nothing and the chicks for free?
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
Which part? The money
the
for
chicks
nothing?
for free.
Well, no. Yeah, I do apologize to you, right, for playing that part for you, Bill. I shouldn't have played that.
No, you shouldn't have.
Andrea, don't play that next week, okay? So, Bill, you got something really interesting to talk about on the show.
Yeah, I do. And it's interesting to see what's going on in the entire market. And I listened to Mr. Bateman, and he's talking about metro mayors. And so it seems another week, another attempt by Lower Mainland mayors to pin all the region's problems on provincial government. You know, we got city politicians talking about homelessness, property taxes, TransLink. But apparently the mayor's never taking responsibility for their part in any of these problems. I mean, they just point to somebody else. They rushed into this last one here about the homelessness count, showing 1/3 increase the number of homeless people in the region from 2014. It made for a great shocking headline. But if you look at what Mayor Robertson has done, I mean, he came in with 1,500 people homeless. Now they're up to 2,200. So that kind of that's kind of saying, well, what the heck's going on? His municipality, the city of Vancouver, the dirty little trick that nobody talks about, is that the City Hall continually slows down the projects, whether it's burgeoning bureaucracy, high housing taxes, and ridiculous red tape. And it happens. There's a statement saying out there that says there's between 60 and 80,000 homes that are going through the red tape process of getting approved for new housing. And if they would expedite that so they could actually do what they say they're going to do by reducing the prices of homes, by getting these homes done quicker, then maybe we might not have such a fast increase in pricing of homes because there's a bigger supply. It seems to me that people who are in power, the ones that are making decisions about these things, have found out that, gee, you know what, we can make a lot of money on this, these home improvement taxes, these anytime anybody's applying for any kind of growth, we can make some money on that. So why not just slow it down? In the old days, you go get a housing permit or a building permit, and that's all it was. Oh, now it takes you anywhere from a year to 3 years to get it, and there's a whole bunch of money involved with it. So it's an income stream for these people. And there's this thing called supply and demand. If you don't increase the supply, and the demand continues the way it is. I mean, we just read with the Laura LePage that there's a 50% increase month over month on the demand for housing. What does that mean? Well, it means house prices are going to not only continue going up, but they're going to escalate in terms of going up in prices.
Get expert mortgage information online by visiting BillyMac.com. That's Billy with an I, not a Y, Mac.com, or by calling Billy at 604-684-4663. That's 604-684-HOME.
I like that. Billy with an I, not a Y, MAC.com.
That's right. M-A-C. I said Mac.
Yeah, Mac.
I knew when I said
That's
that.
it. Just do that again. Billy with an I, not a Y, because most people spell Billy with a Y.
Exactly.
But you spell it with an I.
Exactly.
Not a Y.
Well, that's a Billy Mac.
And then MAC.com. Okay. In the next segment of the program, we're going to hear from a real estate home handyman. His name is Finn Jensen. He says BCers seem to go crazy for real estate every spring.
This is Bill Macklem, president of Dominion Macklem Mortgages, with Andrea Jock of Pinnacle Group Real Estate Marketing, our illustrious producer, Dwayne Bishop, and, of course, Mr. Tom Lucas. Everyone knows who he is. You're listening to Radio Real Estate on CL 650.
CL 650. I'm fixing a hole where the rain gets in and stops my mind from wandering. I'm filling the cracks that ran through the door and kept my mind from wandering.
This is the only part of the week where Mrs. Finn allows Mr. Finn to come down off the roof for a couple of minutes.
Well, at least he's got a sunny day. It was raining yesterday afternoon, but today looks like it's really good.
Well, let's hope it's not raining where other people are listening.
That was true.
That's true. Otherwise, he's going back up the roof. Finn Jensen is standing by. Hello there, Finn.
Good afternoon, Tom, and good afternoon to everyone. Now that we're solidly into spring, real estate is still front and center in the Vancouver area. While the economy is apparently doing fine, the housing market is certainly paying its way too. The affordability question is now high on the list, east to west, and the middle is doing better too. It certainly continues a turn of events. The properties are rising still, with the ceiling jacked up by willing purchasers able to pay for what they want. And all this is good news for the owners of valuable assets. But it can put a crimp on the plans of new and first-time home buyers, with some having to wait a little longer before making that important investment. Much is being said about Canada getting into the European side of international economics. It has been there for some time as far as property values are concerned. Check out the prices in London, Paris, or any city over there, and get your socks knocked off. It's quite correct that they manage things differently and all that, but nothing is cheap. Their countries are run much as we are. In the meantime, our citizens are either clapping their hands or slapping their foreheads. This is Finn Jensen for Radio Real Estate. Talk to you next week.
For your spring maintenance, call Gentech Mechanical Installation 778-378-2740. That's 778-378-2740. And ask to speak with Finn.
All right, Finn's gone back up to the roof now, but give him a call after dinner and he'll come back down. Okay, it's Radio Real Estate on Smooth and Easy, CL 650. Andrea Jock, do you have something for us today?
Yeah, I've got that cute little condo at UBC. We actually, it's amazing it's still available because if the condo market's so hot, we just reduced our price. But you know, the interesting thing with this one, it does have a rental covenant on it. That's why. So it's, if you're looking...
Isn't Isn't that odd?
There's, I guess, the developer at the time promised 3 or 4 units, that would be designated as rental only. But it's great for investors because they never have to worry about renting. But it just so happens that more people right now just happen to be looking for a home to live in at UBC. But this is a beautiful condo. It's 685 square feet. It offers Sub-Zero appliances, Miele, gas range, hardwood flooring, high ceilings. It's spectacular. Big granite island.
So if you move in there, you're going to be taken care of.
You will be
Sounds like a
definitely
pretty nice
taken care
place.
of. And I think for investors, this would attract more of the university professor type renter,
Gotcha.
somebody, not so much a young first time, university students. So I think you'll even be able to demand a higher rent, around
So now
18 to 2,200.
If somebody's interested, how do they get a hold of you during the
Give me a
week?
call, 604-783-3124, 604-783-3124.
You do that, get a hold of Andrea, and Bill said he wants to get a hold of you during the week.
Just give us a shout at 604-684-HOME. That's 604-684-4663.
I understand you like to bake. You like to make cheesecake, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Andrea, what do you think?
I got
I
a
would
Greek
like to
buddy
try
that
some.
loves the cheesecakes. I had to actually make him 4 of them every time I go.
If you were
to
just to make us one chocolate cheesecake and bring it in next week, we'd be happy.
Actually, I wouldn't mind raspberry or strawberry.
Okay, make 2.
2.
Make 3. What do you like, Dwayne?
And then Dwayne likes cherry.
Dwayne likes cherry.
Cherry's good.
Make 3. Thank you, Bill.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Andrea.
Bill.
Dwayne, thank you very much. Thank you for listening to Radio Real Estate. It's Tom Lucas. Talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. I'm going to go on the fun run now because I'll be there by myself.
Well, you're going to be. They've all left.
Oh.
They've all left.
Okay. In that
They're
case,
cleaning up now.
thank you. Bye.